You feed them with love. You choose their food carefully. You might even sneak them a treat from your plate thinking, just a little bit won't hurt. But what if that tiny bite is slowly harming them? Most cat owners have no idea that some of the most common foods in their kitchens, even those considered healthy for humans, can be quietly poisoning their pets. We're not talking about obvious toxins or wild scenarios. These are everyday foods, things you probably eat regularly, things your cat might have licked off your fingers, stolen off the counter, or tasted from your plate without you even realizing it. And the damage? It's not always instant. It's silent, slow, internal. Over time, these foods can disrupt your cat's organs, affect their brain, damage their red blood cells, or trigger a chain of symptoms you wouldn't immediately connect to food: vomiting, lethargy, hiding, or behavioral changes. This video isn't meant to scare you. It's here to protect the one you love most. Because when you understand what not to feed, you're not just avoiding illness. You're giving your cat the chance to live a longer, safer, and more comfortable life. Today, we're revealing the 5 most dangerous everyday foods that are silently toxic to cats. Some of them you've heard about. Others will shock you. But every one of them has the potential to do real harm, even in small amounts. So before your cat jumps onto the counter or steals a taste off your spoon, make sure you know the truth. Let's begin with something deceptively innocent: onions and garlic. Found in nearly every kitchen, used in almost every home-cooked meal, these ingredients are at the top of the list for slow, cumulative poisoning in cats. While most people know that dogs shouldn't eat onions, far fewer realize that cats are even more sensitive. In fact, even small amounts consumed over time can cause Heinz body anemia, a condition where the red blood cells become damaged and are destroyed faster than the body can replace them. How does it happen? Onions and garlic contain compounds called thiosulfates, which cats cannot break down efficiently. These compounds attack red blood cells, reducing their ability to carry oxygen. The result: fatigue, pale gums, rapid breathing, weakness. But because it often builds up gradually, it's easy to miss the connection. A few licks of onion gravy here, a small taste of garlic-infused chicken there, and your cat's system begins to strain under the weight of something they were never meant to digest. And it's not just raw onions or garlic. Cooked, powdered, dehydrated, or mixed into sauces, they're all dangerous. Many commercial broths, soups, and meat-based products contain hidden traces that we, as humans, ignore. But for your cat, those trace amounts could quietly tip the scale. Next comes a sweet surprise: dairy. You've probably seen cartoons of cats lapping up bowls of milk. It's an image burned into pop culture, but it's based on myth, not science. Most adult cats are lactose intolerant. Unlike kittens, whose bodies produce the enzyme lactase to digest their mother's milk, adult cats lose this ability as they age. Giving them cow's milk, cheese, or cream can lead to digestive upset, diarrhea, cramping, bloating, and dehydration. But here's the twist: many cats like the taste of dairy. That creamy texture, the fat content, it's appealing. So when your cat steals a bite of your yogurt or licks your cereal bowl, you might think it's harmless. But inside, their digestive tract is struggling. The lining of their stomach becomes irritated. Their gut microbiome starts to shift. Over time, repeated exposure can lead to chronic inflammation, compromised immunity, and nutrient absorption issues. Now let's talk about grapes and raisins. This one surprises almost every cat owner. While dogs are well known to suffer from acute kidney failure after consuming grapes or raisins, research has shown that cats are also at risk, though their sensitivity may vary. The exact toxic compound hasn't been identified, which makes it even more dangerous. A single grape might pass through one cat unnoticed, but devastate another's kidneys. And because cats are meticulous groomers, indirect exposure matters too. If a raisin is dropped on the floor and later stepped on, then licked off the paw, it can still pose a risk. The symptoms of grape or raisin toxicity can take hours or days to appear: vomiting, lethargy, decreased appetite, increased thirst, or changes in urination. By the time you notice, the kidneys may already be under siege. And speaking of the unexpected, let's move to caffeine. Coffee, tea, energy drinks, chocolate, And even some medications contain methylxanthines, compounds that stimulate the nervous system. In humans, that means alertness. In cats, it can mean elevated heart rate, tremors, restlessness, seizures, and in large enough doses, death. Cats are far smaller than humans, and they metabolize toxins much more slowly. Even licking the rim of a coffee cup or nibbling on a chocolate chip cookie can be harmful. The problem is, caffeine doesn't smell dangerous to cats. In fact, it might be mildly attractive, especially if it's sweetened or mixed with milk. A curious lick out of your mug while you're not looking can unleash an internal storm you won't see until it's too late. And here's where we get to the hidden threat that lurks in the everyday: xylitol. This sugar substitute, found in sugar-free gum, candy, baked goods, toothpaste, and even some peanut butters, is extremely toxic to dogs. And while less research exists for cats, early studies and anecdotal reports show it can cause hypoglycemia, seizures, and liver failure in felines as well. Because xylitol is often labeled as natural or plant-based, pet owners may not even realize it's present in something their cat could access. What makes xylitol especially dangerous is how quickly it acts. Ingestion can lead to a sudden insulin spike, dropping blood sugar levels to dangerously low levels. Your cat could go from curious and alert to weak, shaking, and unresponsive in a matter of hours. And once liver damage begins, even emergency treatment may not be enough. What's terrifying is that these foods don't always cause immediate reactions. In fact, that's what makes them so dangerous. A cat who tastes a small amount today might show no symptoms, but inside, their organs may be beginning to suffer. And with repeated exposure, the damage compounds. Quiet, invisible, deadly. You may be wondering now, has my cat eaten any of these things? If they've ever stolen food, licked a plate, or shared a meal with you, you can't afford not to know. But here's the good news. Knowledge is power, and prevention is everything. It's not just what your cat eats directly, it's what we leave behind that matters. A crumb here, a smear on a plate, an unattended cup, or a forgotten grocery bag. Your cat doesn't need a bowl full of toxic food to suffer the consequences. One curious lick can start a chain reaction. Because cats are natural grazers and explorers, their exposure to danger is often indirect. And that makes it even harder to prevent without awareness. Let's revisit onions and garlic for a moment. These ingredients often hide in leftovers: pizza crust, pasta sauces, soups, even baby food. Imagine you finished dinner and left your plate on the coffee table. Your cat jumps up, attracted by the scent. They don't eat the whole meal, just a few licks of the sauce. To you, it's nothing. But those few licks might contain enough thiosulfates to start damaging their red blood cells. And how often have we given our cats a taste of something because they asked? The meow at your feet when you're cooking. The paw reaching up while you snack. You give in, not with malice, but with love. It's a gesture of inclusion. But that tiny piece of garlic bread, that cheesy chip, that yogurt spoon, it's love without awareness. And unfortunately, it can lead to heartbreak. Consider how often we use food to communicate with our cats, as rewards, as treats, as gestures of affection. We give them a nibble here, a bite there. But are we always reading the ingredients? Are we thinking about how their bodies, so much smaller and more delicate than ours, will process what we offer? The truth is, cats are not just tiny humans. Their biology is vastly different. Their liver processes toxins differently. Their kidneys are more sensitive. Their digestive system evolved for a high-protein, low-carb, strictly carnivorous diet. So when we introduce elements like dairy, caffeine, sweeteners, or plant compounds, we're giving them substances their bodies were never designed to handle. Now let's look at another subtle but powerful factor: repetition. A one-time taste may pass without incident, but repeated exposure, even in small doses, can lead to chronic health issues that unfold over months or years. Inflammation, kidney strain, liver enzyme elevation, gut microbiome imbalance. You start seeing symptoms you can't explain: less energy, more vomiting, inconsistent litter box habits, coat changes. You take them to the vet. Tests may come back normal, but the root cause, the slow, quiet impact of harmless human food, remains invisible. This is the emotional burden of being a guardian to an animal who can't tell you what hurts. They can't say, "That made my stomach twist," or "I feel weak today." They can't tell you the buttered toast made them nauseous, or that the milk upset their gut. They endure it in silence. And by the time the damage becomes visible, it may be too late. But it doesn't have to be this way. There's a quiet revolution happening. Cat guardians who are choosing to learn, who are questioning old myths and rejecting outdated images of cats with saucers of milk, who are reading labels, adjusting habits, and putting awareness before impulse. And the result? Healthier cats, longer lives, fewer vet emergencies, more peace of mind. Because when you know what to avoid, you unlock a new level of protection, a new way of loving, a form of care that doesn't just react, but prevents. That doesn't just feed, but nurtures. That doesn't just include your cat in your life, but adapts your life to honor their biology. And your cat feels it. They may not understand why they feel better, but they will. Less nausea, more energy, a shinier coat, more restful sleep, a calmer stomach, and that purring contentment that only comes when their body is in balance. This is the invisible gift you give them. Every time you stop a hand from offering the wrong food, every time you move a plate, every time you say no to a curious paw, you are protecting their future, and they'll never know it was you, but you will. Let's explore the emotional layer behind all this, because at the heart of it, this isn't just about food. It's about love, trust, and the way we care for the animals who live in our homes, depend on our decisions, and give us their quiet companionship every day. When we share food with another being, we're performing one of the oldest acts of bonding. It's ancient, primal. It says, "You are part of my circle. You are family." So it's no surprise that many cat owners instinctively want to share what they're eating. A piece of cheese, a sliver of turkey, a spoon of yogurt. It feels intimate, like you're letting your cat in on something personal. But cats don't experience food the way we do. They don't have taste receptors for sweetness. Their digestive systems aren't designed to process variety. For them, food is survival, fuel. Every meal is a negotiation with biology. Every bite needs to support the organs that filter, break down, and use what we give them. And that's where our good intentions can quietly go wrong. Because the problem with toxicity in cats is not always immediate reaction, it's accumulation. Their systems don't eliminate certain compounds efficiently. They lack key liver enzymes. They metabolize slowly. So a small amount of garlic today, another next week, another the month after, it doesn't disappear, it builds. Until one day, their body hits its limit. You might see it as a bad day, a little vomiting, a refusal to eat, a hiding spell, but it could be the result of months, even years, of exposure to substances we didn't know were dangerous. The most tragic part? In many cases, we gave it to them out of love. That's the emotional burden that makes this topic so difficult and so powerful, because no one wants to believe that the treat they gave their cat could be causing harm. And yet that's exactly why this information matters. Not to shame, not to scold, but to free us from harmful habits inherited from culture, misinformation, or marketing. Let's talk about pet food packaging for a moment. Many treats marketed for cats contain dairy, artificial flavors, or chemical preservatives that sound innocent, but don't belong in a feline body. Worse, some human-grade products designed to appeal to pet parents come in flavors like creamy cheddar or chicken Alfredo. They're designed for you, not your cat. They play on human cravings and aesthetics, ignoring what a cat truly needs to thrive. And then there's the issue of accessibility. Most poisoning cases don't happen during deliberate feeding. They happen by accident. A cup left on the table, a muffin dropped on the floor, a child sharing their snack, a bag of groceries momentarily unattended. These are the moments that matter, because cats are silent, fast, stealthy. By the time you notice, the damage may already be done. But here's the beautiful truth. You can shift the outcome with just a little knowledge and intention. Start by creating boundaries. Keep toxic foods completely out of reach. Clean plates before leaving them unattended. Teach children what's safe and what's not. And most importantly, retrain your own instinct to share bites impulsively. Remind yourself, my cat doesn't need variety, they need safety. Instead, redirect that impulse to share into something better. Offer them affection, eye contact, a toy session, a clean, safe treat formulated specifically for cats. Your cat doesn't crave your pasta, they crave connection. And that's something you can give without ever putting their health at risk. Every time you resist giving them something that could hurt them, even if they beg, you're honoring the silent bond between you. You're saying, I see you, I protect you, even when you don't understand why. And they may not understand, but they feel it, in how their body functions, in the calmness of their digestion, in the absence of pain. That's the legacy of mindful care. Not loud, not showy, but deep, invisible, life-saving. So what does all this mean for you and your cat? From today forward, it means you are no longer just a pet owner. You are a guardian of a body far more sensitive than your own, a translator of instincts, a protector against things your cat cannot name. And your kitchen? It becomes a new kind of territory, one filled with both love and responsibility. The 5 foods we've explored, onions and garlic, dairy, grapes and raisins, caffeine, and xylitol, are not just kitchen staples, they're hidden threats, silent saboteurs. But now, you see them for what they are. You know the risks, you understand the signs, and more importantly, you have the power to prevent harm before it starts. Prevention is quiet. It doesn't come with dramatic music or Instagram posts. It happens in the split second when you pull a plate away instead of letting them lick it, when you close a cabinet, when you read a label, when you choose awareness over habit. And your cat may never know the difference. They'll just feel good, healthy, balanced, safe. They'll purr more, hide less, sleep deeply, live longer, because of what you didn't give them. This is love in its highest form, the kind that asks for nothing in return, the kind that protects in silence. If this video helped you understand your cat better, if you feel more prepared to care for them in a world built for humans, please consider subscribing to Mundo Animal. Here, we don't just talk about animals. We reveal what they can't say. We uncover the quiet truths behind their behaviors, their needs, their joys, and their suffering. And by watching, sharing, and learning, you become part of a movement, one that believes animals deserve not just affection, but understanding. Share this with someone who loves their cat but might not know the hidden dangers lurking in the kitchen. Because in the end, what you know could save their life.